Okay, we are live. Hello, hello,
Yes.
hello.
Hey,
Let
you
me
guys.
let me make sure I'm good on Jay, are you able to go to my channel to see if it's running or if can anyone let me know? Let me check out my
Let me see.
um greetings, you guys. If you're tuning in, so far we just got Supreme. So I hope I'm doing this correctly. Hi. Okay, I'm starting to see everyone. Greetings.
Okay.
All right, I'm starting to see. Welcome
I
to the
should charge my other
live.
phone.
Let me switch accounts just to see what I'm looking like. I'm gonna let maybe about two more people get in here, you guys. So grab your popcorn, grab your drinks, get set up,
You can still see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, because I have the comments pulled up and it's like covering the whole thing, but I can like see me kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no, it's fine.
So you guys get real comfy. We about to start in a few. I just want to make sure because y'all know last time I had technical difficulties. So I'm working this out, you guys. So thank you so much for joining. I am actually, and if y'all can share this live video, um, just share it. I'm about to share it to my other channel. And hopefully that'll help. Hi, coach. Greetings. Thank you for tuning in. I'm getting my stuff together. So get comfortable, grab
Hey,
your
you guys. What's up,
popcorn.
twin? What's up, diva? Hey, coach.
Let me switch my account so I can see what we looking like. Okay, there we go. So it says only one person in here, but I can see three. So I don't know. I don't know how that works. Let me cut my volume down. Okay, I see elevated in here too.
You're so funny, twin. Hell nah. Why you not speaking to her?
Hey, do you think is it because I see elevated in the chat and I also see
I don't see elevated in here.
I
Well,
see
not
him
from my
on my
end.
original YouTube. So I'm trying to figure out how the heck is this linked. Y'all, please bear with me. Okay, so it says I'm live. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. We in here. So I think elevated may be on my other live. Somebody help him out.
She said, "You might not be talking to me, but I'm speaking to you." Hell no, y'all so funny. Hi,
Okay.
Trisha. Trisha Nicole, period.
Trisha, what do you do? What do you do? Okay, I think we have enough people. I was just trying to get elevated because I think I did. I set one premiere and then I have one live, so I think he's in the wrong one. Let me let him know to get out of this one. What's up, Stash? Greetings. Thank you for
Hi,
joining.
Anthony. Hey, Stash.
It go to my other live. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't confuse anyone. All right, I think we are good. So thank you guys for tuning into the live. Greetings, Anthony. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the movie review, and we are going to be reviewing the movie Straw by Tyler Perry. So I don't know if you guys saw it. If you haven't, I'm sorry. There are going to be a few spoiler alerts. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off. So y'all already know like how I like to do. I like to start with the actual director of the movie. So y'all already know everyone is kind of well acquainted with Tyler Perry. So far as Tyler Perry and his discography and everything he's done in film, how do you feel about Tyler Perry as just an overall director? How would you like rank him in the way he makes his movies?
The way, as far as ranking him, the way he does his movies,
Yeah.
I like me personally. Everybody has their own opinion, but me personally, I'm more so of a Medea fan than anything else. You know what I'm saying? So his Medea movies, 10 out of
Okay.
10. I have to say 10 out of 10. I love it. The plays, I love even more than the movies. I love the plays even more, way, way more than the movies. But I love what he's done in the past. Now, up to like what he's been doing here, so especially like over the last couple of years, it's been
Hmm.
cool. It's been cool. You know what I'm saying? I really love like um what was it called? Woman of a Mad Black, Diary of a Mad
Diary
Black
of a
Woman.
Black
I
Woman.
love that. I love that. The Family That Prays. I love that. You know what I'm saying? The family reunion, you know what I'm saying? That one movie where they all went on a trip. What was it? Something about marriage. What
Why
was
Did
it?
I Get Married?
Why Did I Get Married? I love
Okay.
that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. I like the movies that he direct. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So, fun fact, I still never seen A Family That Prays, but I heard that it is a good movie. A lot of people love that one.
Yes.
Anytime someone mentions Tyler Perry and his work, they always mention that particular movie. So
Mm-hmm.
I put that on my list. I'm gonna go back and watch A Family That Prays because everyone always mentions that. I'm not a
Yeah.
fan of the Medea franchise.
What?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm sorry. The only play that I loved by Tyler Perry, which isn't like Medea ain't even in it, is Meet the Browns. That's like my favorite play ever.
I like Meet the Browns too. I love him. He's so funny with his ashy knees running
Yeah.
all over the place. I love him. Yeah. But I love the Medea plays, girl. I can't hold you. I like them more than the movies. I love them. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, how do you feel about far as before we get into this actual movie Straw? How do you feel about Tyler Perry kind of making a statement that hey, it only took them 4 days to create this movie? How do you feel about the cuz with us both being into cinematography, we both edit, we know that it takes a long time. So, just imagine yourself being a director, producer, and basically writing everything, writing, producing, and doing everything, and only having 4 days to create something. How would you handle that? Like, do you think that's a good thing, or do you think that's a bad thing? Only
I think that is amazing, and to be honest, I'm not surprised because this is something that he does for a living, so it makes sense for it to be so fast. And I think another reason why it went by so quick is because he has amazing actors that been in the game for a long time. You know what I'm saying? That ain't gonna play around. They really about to. It's gonna be like a one take kind of thing. So yeah, I believe that he most definitely could have did everything in 4 days. That doesn't come off like a shocker to me at all.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard he was getting like a lot of like flack because he only filmed it in 4 days, and I heard some negative reviews about him needing more time. I personally think for this particular movie, he did great for only 4 days.
Yeah,
I
I think
think he
so
gave
too.
me everything I needed out of this movie, but we're gonna get into that. How do you feel about Taraji P. Henson playing the main character? Like, how do you feel about her work?
I love Taraji for one. She comes off as amazing. She's always like amazing to me whatever role she's in. She doesn't come off as acting. I feel like she lives the role of that character and it shows when it's in a movie. Like when she's actually doing a scene, the feelings and the emotions, everything. Like she turns into that character for real, for real. And she plays it out so well. I loved her. I think that he made an amazing decision to pick Taraji for the leading role.
Yes, he did. She's up there when it comes down to all of the actresses and her work. Like we gotta
Mhm.
think Taraji been in the game for a
A
very long
long time.
she's been
Yeah.
in for a very and Sherry Shepherd too, which
Hmm.
I'll get into a little later. I feel like
Yeah.
she did great when it came down to because she's in a role or sometimes she'll get like the comedic role. So seeing her being very
Yeah.
serious in this role, I personally thought she did good.
I think that Sherry Shepherd did the best acting out of everybody, even over Taraji to me.
A lot of people said that.
Yeah, honestly, like when I tell y'all, like she lived this role better than Taraji. She was, if I had to pick the actors in order from what I feel like, she's number one for me in this particular movie. She's number one for sure.
Lisa Bell said
Hmm.
Tiana Taylor needed a better wig. We're gonna get on Tiana. We're going to get on Tiana. Um, I agree, Lisa Bell. I agree.
Hey Lisa, hey Bean.
I love Tiana Taylor down. She does great in her music videos, but it doesn't translate well onto movies to me. My personal opinion. I was very upset, but it wouldn't be a Tyler
Well,
Perry film.
I don't really know if I can really say that. I
Mm,
just think if anything, it would just be this role. Because when she was in a Tyler Perry movie before and she did amazing. The one where she was like, Byron.
but see, that was
I
like
love
a
that
comedic.
one.
That was a
Huh?
comedic role. I think
Yeah, I think she do good with those roles then.
but she didn't show off her acting chops for real, for real. And like this was a moment to get serious and really show off your acting chops. I didn't get that from her. Now she's also did I want to say Step Up 2. No, not Step Up 2. She did a Step Up, I think maybe 3 or something like that. And her role wasn't super serious, but I can tell like, okay, she getting into her bag, but this was the movie you was really supposed to sell me with the emotion and the intensity of it, and I didn't get that. I didn't get that from Tiana. I
I
don't know.
didn't get that from her either. Even like my husband was saying, like she was not acting good at all. Yeah.
I
And
don't
I kind of
know.
thought that too, honestly.
Now, sometimes it could be the direction from the director, and sometimes it could be the actual actor. I'm
Yeah,
going to go
sure.
with this 50-50. I think it was her, and I think it was a little bit of the direction that Tyler Perry was going for. Like, I don't know. She just didn't sell it to me. I don't know.
Hmm.
My personal opinion. And yes, it wouldn't be a Tyler Perry film if somebody didn't have a bad wig. That's just my personal opinion.
You're
Like
funny, child.
somebody's gonna have a
Uh-uh.
bad wig. Can we talk about Shamar Moore in the movie Diary of a Mad Black Woman with that braided wig on? That was
Uh,
a mess. Was that not a mess?
that was a mess. I remember that. I definitely remember. I was looking like, who put you together? They need to
Tyler.
take you apart, child. I
Tyler.
mean, maybe, what if it was the hairdressers? What if he had the same hairdressers? What if it's
I'm
them?
gonna need him to fire them because he be having him looking bad. I'm gonna need him to. It's always gonna be one person out of every movie that has a bad wig, and it just wouldn't be a Tyler Perry. At this point, I think he'd be trolling us because I know he hears the reviews that we have about. Like I know he hears the complaints that people have, and it's like at this point, Tyler, like really. But that's just my little tidbit on the some of the main characters. So we had Taraji, we had Sherry Shepherd, we had Tiana Taylor. Um oh, and we also had the Colonel from A Different World. I cannot think of his name. Anybody in the chat know who I'm talking? I know Anthony knows. Anthony, he should know the guy from A Different World, but he did amazing. Only thing I will say is a lot of people they didn't like the role that he played far as him being the mean guy, but I if my personal opinion, anytime an actor makes you mad or sad, then they've done their job. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
how
true.
I feel about
Mhm.
that. I feel like
And
they've done.
just to answer your question, Anthony, he said, "Did this movie show in theaters?" It actually went straight to Netflix.
Yeah, Anthony, Netflix.
The
So
name is called Straws. Straws.
it's just straw. It's no S on it.
Oh, it's just straw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, straw. Straw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out, Anthony, if you haven't watched it, but it's pretty good. I know you should be familiar, if I'm not mistaken, with Taraji P. Henson, and I know you might be familiar with Tyler Perry. I feel like at this point,
I feel like
you
everybody is.
yeah, but you'll be surprised. Anthony
Yeah.
always says it's something that he not aware of and he don't know about. So okay, so we can get straight into this movie. So in the beginning scene, you see Taraji. She's in her bed. You can tell that. just from the scene that they're not living in the best conditions.
Right.
You can see like old Chinese food noodles all on the table. You can see dishes in the sink. You can see that they clearly have no AC. You can see she's lying in the bed, but it also shows something which is very important. It shows her having it's like a little flashback almost of her
Mhm.
leaving the hospital with her daughter in her, like holding her daughter as she's walking out, which we didn't know until the end of the movie how important that scene was. So when you see that beginning scene, like what comes to mind when you first see it? Like, what do you think this movie is going to be about? Like,
When
what's
I
your
first see that scene of her walking out with her daughter or attempting to walk out with her daughter, I kind of think like, okay, so it seems like she's a single mom since it shows that she's kind of by herself with the child.
mm-hmm.
And it seems like to me that it's going to be a struggle of like a life of like a struggling life of a black woman, basically. So that's kind of what I thought when I saw that scene. I thought it was going to be a movie about her and her daughter and how they was going to go through, like how they struggled to go and whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever seen the movie John Q with Denzel?
No.
What?
Yeah, no.
Okay. Have you ever seen Breaking with John Boyega?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so then a lot of people was comparing that movie to those two movies because it has a similar storyline, especially with the whole
Yeah.
bank robbing situation.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like there was another movie when I had seen it. There was a movie that I compared it to. I just can't remember the name, but it was literally like the same thing. And to be honest, I'm not all that surprised because I was saying before when I seen the movie that Tyler Perry made, what's it, Mia something, the one he did with Kelly
yeah,
Rowland.
Coco.
It
Mhm.
literally was it literally was the exact same thing as the Pandora's box. Pandora's box. It literally was the same thing. Have you seen Pandora's box?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, I think I had told you. I think I asked you that before, and you said no. But
Yeah.
it literally was the same thing. So I'm not surprised. I feel like maybe this is something that he's doing. Maybe that's why it was so easy to write because he just like took ideas from other movies or something.
Yes. I think with this movie, what makes it just a little bit different from John Q and Breaking is the twist at the end. I think he put his own little spin on it. And I don't know whose live we were in. Was it yesterday? It might have been Stash or Supreme. I can't remember, but I made the comment that there's a saying that good artists never steal, they just take and recreate. I don't know who
Hmm.
said that line. I feel like that's a famous quote from some type of philosopher out there, but good
I believe
artists,
that.
they don't steal. They just take, recreate, repurpose it, and make it into
Hmm.
their own. Because if
Yeah,
you think about it, nothing is never new under the sun. We just recreate
right.
stuff.
It is. That's true. Hey, Monique.
Is that the
Hmm.
one about the hospital? Yes, Anthony. The movie John Q. Like when his son has a heart condition, and so he basically kind of like forces the doctors to like do something about his son because his son is basically about to die because of his heart condition. But yes, it's on the similar lines as far as a distraught parent trying to make things happen for their child, and they go through extreme measures. Which, by the way, I did not do my what is I'm trying to say, the prologue to this movie. Let me see if I can read that to you guys. I like to kind of do that in the beginning, just for those who have not seen the movie Straw. Um, Give me 1 second, you guys. And I got to get some theme music, Anthony, because I love what you did with Jay, and I love what you did with Stash for both of their shows. But we're just getting this thing off the ground, so we're gonna give it like a few more Mondays with me doing more movie reviews. Okay, so this is the overview. That's the word I was looking for this movie. So it's about a single mother who navigates a series of unfortunate events, leading her down an unforeseen path where she becomes embroiled in a situation she never envisioned, finding herself at the center of a suspicion in a indifferent world. And I love how they said in an indifferent world, because we're going to talk more about why, from her perspective, everything was just totally different, which is revealed at the end. So
Mm-hmm.
back to the first scene. When I first saw that scene, too, I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. This looks like another struggling mother. But I was very curious to see where it goes from there. I'm like, okay, is this something that she's gonna possibly overcome? I really want to know. So let's fast forward to she gets her child up, they get ready for the day, she gives her daughter a bath. Now in that scene, I was like, ain't her daughter too big to be like she can't bathe herself? But they basically kind of they clear it up, and her daughter even says like, hey mom, like I'm too big for you to be giving me a bath. And she mentions that, hey, you fell last time, so I just want to make sure that you're careful, so that's why I'm basically going to bathe you. um Oh, Stash said you're gonna watch it tonight. Okay. All right, Stash. Yes, watch it. It's really, really good because there is a twist at
Yeah, it
the end.
is.
So I just want to let you know, if you plan on watching it and you don't like spoilers, I'm sorry. There are gonna be a few spoilers. You don't have to worry about spoiling the movie for me. I don't know if I'm gonna watch. Anthony, watch it. It's good. Anthony said he doesn't really watch movies like that. So
I believe it. A lot of people don't.
watch movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't understand because I love watching movies. Like,
I do too. I love watching movies also.
yeah. So with that scene, she basically gives her daughter a bath. They get their day started, and then they basically, head out. This is another person I meant to mention. Another big actor. Did you notice how he put Sinbad in the movie? Sinbad was a guy in a wheelchair.
Oh, I didn't really know who that was.
What? Sinbad.
Mm.
He's have you ever seen the TV show A Different World?
I've seen it, but not that many times to really remember it.
Ah man, okay. Sinbad also played in a lot of other movies as well.
I believe it.
But he basically, I love how he basically added him into this movie. One
Mm-hmm.
thing about Tyler Perry, he gonna give you a job.
Yeah.
He gonna give you a job. And so I love how, as she's rushing, you can tell she already don't have it. She's late on rent. She's rushing downstairs to get to work and drop her daughter off to school. You have the landlord who's harassing her. Just
Child, crazy.
we starting off out the gate with the lady not being able to catch a break. Like the first 10 minutes of the movie, like, dang, like, can she breathe? Can she breathe?
Right, exactly.
So how did you feel about the landlord harassing her trying to rush down, but also giving her last to a stranger? Well, not really a stranger, I guess someone who's
Yeah, it
around.
wasn't a stranger, but it was also someone that I mean, I won't say but it was also kind of she was dealing with a lot herself. So for you to give your last to someone where you need more than what you have shows your how big your heart really is. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? The landlord was a hoe. You know, I'm gonna be clean about it. The landlord was a hoe and she needed to be stumped,
She
not
needs to
slapped,
be
but stumped. No, she
back.
needed to be no stumped, not
Oh.
slapped, stumped. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Cause she was like, do you mind telling him to lower his music down because me and my baby be trying to sleep at night? And she was like, he paid his rent. He paid his rent on time. On
She
time. I was like,
did.
dang, you don't
I'm glad
care.
you
You
mentioned
don't
that.
care.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So I totally forgot. Yeah, you can tell also they had music playing. She couldn't get no sleep. Like she literally, like what coach
Yeah.
said, absolutely the worst day. Like that was the worst day ever.
Yeah, that day. And it's so crazy because that whole movie literally plays in one day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you think back to a time where you had like the work, like stuff just kept happening back to back?
Uh Let me think for real. I feel like I have a lot of times, but a time that really made it like super, super stressful on me. Um, I don't really, I don't really know. No, no, actually, mm, I would probably have to say it would have to probably be when my ex was killed. I think around that time. I feel like everything happened back to back because I kind of feel like her in a moment when I think about
Mhm.
that for real. Because when that happened, I feel like the very next moment I woke up and I kind of was looking around like, where he at? You know, kind of forgetting about it and had to kind of relive that moment again.
Yeah.
And it took a while for me to clear out the apartment because every time I would like be feeling good, like I have a lot of people over, my friends and stuff coming, they would vibe with me. And then when it comes time to packing, I would be like, what am I packing for? And then I would remember and it would put me back into shock. It kind of took about probably 3 weeks for me to even start packing child,
Yeah.
because every time I would start, it would take me back to the beginning and it just would mess me up. So I think that would be a time where I feel like everything, where things just kind of was happening back to back. Like it was just like it was just a repeating feeling. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that is the only thing I can think of right now.
Aw, I've been there before. I had an ex who passed away as well. He passed away in prison. So
Oh
that was
dang, that's crazy.
yeah. So I totally can relate to that. And it's just like that it was almost unreal. And it's just like, hold on, like I was just talking to him through
Right.
JPay. Anybody know
Oh,
what that
child.
is? But yeah, I was just like talking to him and it is a shock to you. And which kind of coincides with this movie. Like when something is a shock, sometimes things isn't unreal. Sometimes things are
Yes.
unreal to where you don't have a moment to even process it. And it goes to show how with this movie, like women have it so, and men do too. This is not to single out, my men. But black women do have it hard. It's a lot that we have to go through. And it's so sad to know that this lady went through so much. She didn't have a moment to process what
Yes,
really happened.
exactly. Thank you, coach. That is so crazy.
Hey,
Yeah.
Faith. Greetings. Thank you for
Hey,
joining the
babe.
live. In the background, prepping for tomorrow. Okay. Thank you for joining.
Okay.
Thank you for listening in. Um, so so we get to the part where she already started her day off with loud music. We got the landlord being an asshole. We have her giving her last to, I guess a friend and having to drive off
Or
to
I'll
school.
say more so of a familiar face than a
Familiar,
friend.
right.
Yeah.
I agree. That sounds more better. A familiar face. And then taking her daughter to school, which we didn't catch till later. I was wondering when she dropped her daughter off to
Oh,
school,
uh-huh.
why I'm like, why the teacher looking at her like that?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Because my husband had peeped that. I actually didn't peep that, but my husband did. He
Yeah,
was like, it's funny how she's looking at her like, what is she doing? Not knowing what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was crazy.
it was. And I peeped it, but I assumed like, okay,
Yeah,
maybe
I
they'll
had
reveal it
seen the
later.
weird face, but I kind
Yeah,
of thought like maybe she don't like her or something.
right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about she drops her daughter off. Quote, and I'm gonna put quote, she dropped her daughter off. And she gets to work, her day becomes even more hectic
Girl.
as we have the lines are just out like the door, like people just lined
Even
up.
before she sees the lines, because
Yeah,
the way that she walked into work before she even seen the lines, her whole energy already was like
heavy.
it was like her soul was left outside the door. Like she
Yeah,
walked into like the norm of what she knows is about to happen. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
then on top of that, the people that was in the store, the customers, they looked like they were repeated customers to the point they was like, we know you, come get to work. Like come do your job. Like, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like
I know
almost like
how
you a
that is.
janitor. They was treating her like she was a janitor and there's only one stall and she need to clean it so they can get to the bathroom. Like,
Yes.
what?
A lot of people said that that wasn't realistic, and I'm like, in what world? That is very realistic. I don't know
I
why people
mean,
didn't think it was realistic.
that's realistic, but only in like I would honestly say like probably like the
The
hood,
worst faces.
because that's not realistic to me. I would never walk into a store and it will be that kind of way. The only time it will be that type of way, this Walmart that's right next to This Walmart that's right next to us, they don't be having no cashiers on the freaking cashier thing, and the lines be so backed up. So sometimes I do be looking at them like, y'all need to get to work. Y'all be standing over there, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all be
Exactly.
irritating me. But for there to only be like two or three cashiers in this, but the thing about it is that they really are in the hood, and everything that's around seems like there's probably just one bank that everybody in the hood uses. There's one store that everybody goes to. It kind of seems like there's just one of everything. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of energy that they was putting out there. So if that's the case, then yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's going on, Dice? Eric said that's every Walmart, and I agree. That's every Walmart. There's a
Yeah.
Walmart
What's
next
up,
to me as
elevated? Hey,
well.
Dice.
Hi Savannah. Hey girl.
Hi,
Thank you for
Savannah.
tuning in. But yeah, same. Walmart by me. It's always like, especially during the holidays, it makes my skin crawl having to walk in any Walmart. I will go to any other store other than Walmart because it is super duper packed. So I've experienced where the lines are packed and where there's
I
only
wouldn't really say any Walmart because when I go to the Walmart over by my auntie house, their
mhm,
Walmart is more of like a regular Walmart. This one that's over here next to me is just like the neighborhood market Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's a little bit smaller, but it's crazy because it's in a nicer place because we live in a nicer place. You know what I'm saying? But the Walmart over there is bigger. So there's more cashiers, a lot more self checkout. So there's barely ever like a line, and if there is, it's like just literally 2 seconds. 2 seconds later, I'll be checking out. But this one, honey,
that's
I can
rare
go and
though,
grab
Jay.
one item, huh?
That's rare. Where I
You
stay at, no, it don't matter what side of town I go on. I'm going north, south, east, west. The Walmarts is always packed. Like, so
Oh
that's
yeah, the
very rare.
Walmart's is always packed, but nah, when I go to the Walmart over to my auntie house, I don't ever have a problem with the line. Like I'm saying, I'm talking about never have a problem with the line. It would have to be like a Black Friday or like Thanksgiving or
Yeah.
probably like Christmas Eve because you know Christmas is shut down, so everybody is in
True.
there. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, nah,
I don't
I don't have a
know.
problem except for the one that's next to me.
I think what's the saying? Perception is reality. Like my reality is every time I go to Walmart, I get anxiety because it's I experience not to that. I mean, I think obviously it was a little over exaggerated with everybody in there just waiting and cussing her out and
You
but
know what? I don't even now that I think about it
yeah,
because I remember the girl when she finally got to the register.
yeah.
The first girl she was ringing up, the couple, it was like a guy and a girl or whatever. She was about to pay with her EBT card. Maybe it was a situation where it was like the beginning of the month and everybody was trying to
True,
rush in to get their stuff. You know what I'm saying?
true.
Because I think what it's like the first to the fifth or something. Somebody had
Mhm.
told me that. Who told me that? I forgot who told me that. Somebody on YouTube told me that. So I was like, yes. It was Nomadic. Nomadic said that all the family be happy and together from the first to the fifth, and after that they be gone. And I'm
Yeah,
like, but why they be happy from the first to
because
the fifth? He was like,
it
you don't know that's when
stamps,
EBT hit. I was like, oh, okay,
them
yeah.
stamps, EBT, all of that good stuff. Yep. Nah, that
Hmm.
makes sense. I can go for that. That would make sense. So they trying to hurry
Yeah.
up, get their stuff. And when you talked about her, before I get into that, my bad. I wanted to say hi to Kendall's. Greetings, Kendall's. I'm glad you joined the live, girl. Thank you.
Hey,
Um,
Kendall's.
but yes, when you talked about when she walked in and feeling that heaviness, and like she just like you can tell like she didn't want to be there. When was the last time you went to work and be like, dang, I don't want to go in today. I can't do this. I know you're an entrepreneur now and you have your own business, but has there been a time where you had to
Oh,
choose
girl,
the 9 to 5?
most definitely. When I was working at FedEx, I was working at FedEx like what 3 years ago, I think, and
Mm,
I was a package handler there. So we had to
mm,
be to work at like sometimes 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning, and we would stay there until like probably like sometimes 10 in the morning. Let me tell you. I used to hate it sometimes until I was able to figure out how to turn it around to make it work for me. Then I was always
mhm.
happy to go up in there. But before then, I hated it. Like, even when, as soon as I would even turn in, like make the turn to get into the parking lot, I would just like, I feel like I left my spirit. in like on the street. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
once I
let's
turned
do
into
like
the
that.
parking lot, you know what I'm saying? Now you're thinking about the time. Now you're actually thinking about like all of this extra stuff. And that just really, it was just really annoying because it was a lot of heavy boxes, a lot of heavy work, and I had to like pick up the pace. It was really, really annoying.
That's so
But
crazy. Jay, how tall are you?
I'm 5 foot.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. I'm like, I can see you being so short, trying to grab packages and
You know
stuff.
what I'm saying?
You're
Big heavy
little.
packages too. You know what I'm saying? Like there was times where I wanted to quit. You know what I'm saying? There was, and it
Yeah.
was, this was only in the beginning of like me working there until I figured out how to make it work for me. And when I did, then it just became fun. Then I was excited to go to work. But before then, when I really hated it,
Mhm.
child, please.
They have no office job
Yeah.
for you. They just told you like you could just grab packages all day with the men's and stuff.
I mean, before that FedEx job, I was working for, what was I doing before that? Before that FedEx job, I was working at a Walmart distribution center where I was a manager,
Mm,
and that was cool until I quit because they had me messed up. And when I quit, everyone that was working with me quit too because they didn't want to work with the other managers.
wow.
So yeah, so they, when I was like, I'm leaving, this is unfair treatment. I worked too hard. I changed that
Yeah.
whole place around, girl. Like the place was a disaster, and I like turned it around 360. They had me so messed up.
Wow.
But before that, I was working in the call center. And the call center even sometimes would be irritating because I would get on the phone with these really, really rude people on the phone until I found out how to turn that around. I was like, hold on, I'm doing you a favor. I can easily put this on your credit report. So you
Oh
better
my
respect
god.
me. You know what I'm saying? You better
Yeah,
respect
people
me. Yeah.
working in
But
any type of
I feel like
customer
every
service
working
job.
American can relate to how she was feeling when she walked into that store.
Yeah, any type of customer service type job, you're bound to get beat up by the customers, whether if it's in the call center,
Yes.
over the phone, in person. You're bound to feel that heaviness before you go into work, especially if you're an introvert like me. I'm like, I don't want to talk to people all day. I don't want to get cussed out all day long. Like, that's really taxing on your mental. It's really
Yeah.
taxing on your mental. So I can imagine with Taraji's character, and her name was Janiyah Wilkerson, with
Hmm.
her walking into work and like, here we go, this is what I got to deal with. But she know she got to deal with it to make ends meet because she already got the landlord over her head too. So that's a lot to
Gosh.
deal with.
Hmm.
So with her getting in a lot, there's another scene that occurs where she finally gets to the register. You have the couple that wants to purchase their food with EBT, and she has to break the news to them like, "Hey, we don't accept EBT." And the man throws a bottle at her feet, and the glass breaks. Now, a lot of people were saying that that was not realistic as well. Now, that I will agree was not realistic. However, you do have moments in life where people will randomly like,
I feel like that was realistic, and I feel like things like that can definitely happen. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I have so much that I can relate to. Like, okay, so small, short, very short little
Yeah.
story time. I was working at a Walmart in Minnesota, and I was the cashier. This pregnant lady and her boyfriend. I don't know if they were married, but I think it was just a boyfriend. They came, they bought a whole bunch of EBT food, a whole bunch. And
Mm.
I rang them up and they left. They went into the parking lot. Turns out a customer came inside and was like, they fighting in the parking lot. Like ran inside and said they fighting in the parking lot. The food was spread all over the Walmart parking lot, girl. I don't
Wow.
know what happened, but the pregnant lady came back inside and she started cussing me out, girl. Cussing like from head to toe, girl. She started cussing me out. Oh, you think you so cute? My husband was looking at you. My husband was looking at you. You think you something, girl? Like I'm talking about cuss me out from head to toe, and I'm looking at her like, and I was much younger at the time, so I was really really emotional, girl. So I just started crying. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, like she really hurt my feelings because she just ran in here and just like I'm already ready to
Like,
go.
what
I'm
you had
already
to do
thinking,
in
okay,
it?
so this will be a good thing to say for stuff that happened back to back because I was ready to go. I was already irritated, and then I just got cussed the hell out. I had no more energy in me. I just started crying, girl. I was
Oh
like,
my
oh my
god.
gosh. And I was so much younger. If it was now, I would have fought that. I don't care if you were pregnant or not. I ain't playing. You're not about to mess with me like that for real, for real. I ain't playing with you. Or if I probably wouldn't have fought you, honestly.
This
I'm
was
just
in
like,
Atlanta,
she
Georgia.
was pregnant. No, this was in Minnesota.
Oh,
Where they crazy,
Minnesota.
they can get crazy up there, girl. I was mad that nobody really knew how crazy Minnesota can get until that whole George Floyd thing happened. Minnesota get
Ah,
crazy, girl. What? Them people up there, you better watch them. Mm-mm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so crazy. That's what like a lot of people is really harshly criticizing this movie as if some of the stuff does not happen to black women, like or people, period. I don't want to just say black
Faith,
women.
what you say first of all for?
Oh, because Elevated called you a midget child. Elevated called
I'm not a midget. I'm 5 foot. I think I'm fine for my height. I feel like maybe if I was 4'6", then you can call me a midget.
yeah, 5 foot might be okay.
Yeah.
I'm 5'5". I'm like right at 5'5".
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
I'm
know. That might
good.
be
God
average.
just said I was perfect when he was creating me, and I got five. Oh, you're 5'1"? Faith, I can't imagine that you're 5'1". You look taller in your videos. You look like you're probably 5'4" at least.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
yeah.
didn't think when Faith said it too. We was on her live last night and she mentioned how short she was. I'm like, really? I didn't think she was that short either
Yeah, she doesn't look that short in her
at
video.
all.
I don't know. That thing make you look tall, girl. Yeah. Yeah, but you know what was interesting when she ran to the back after the guy threw the bottle at her feet, and then the other coworker came and was like,
Yes,
did he hurt you? Are you okay? The way that she was so concerned
yes.
made me think about a lot when it came to actually watching the video and rethinking about that part.
What
Yeah.
did you make? Okay, okay, I got you. So I also heard. Again, I'm comparing to a lot of people when they did their reviews. I feel like a lot of people they wasn't is there was a disconnect. So a lot of people said, "Oh, she had no one in her corner." I'm like, she literally had her coworker. Her coworker was looking out for her. Coworker even offered her money for
Yeah, but she also knew what she was going through too, and I know that's exactly why she wanted to be like, no, you know what I'm saying? That's like we both struggling like real bad and whatnot. And I know what's going on with you, and even though if you know what's going on with me, I don't want to take from you, especially if I know that today is payday. Even
right.
though I did feel bad for her, but I can honestly agree to that. It seemed like she had no one in her corner because she ended up having a lot of people in her corner, but we'll get to that later.
Yes, later on she did, but I feel like the criticism was this isn't realistic. People don't just wake up and have bad days. Like, yes, it was
People
over
do wake up and have
exaggerated.
bad days.
Yeah, yes, it was over exaggerated a little bit, but it is some people out there like they can't catch a break. I know people. I'm like, dang, something always happening to you.
Hmm.
Even me, y'all know me. I've gave my little testimonies here on you. I'm like, it's always something going on with me. So not to that extreme, but it's like it happens. Stuff like that does happen.
It
Um,
does. Like, that's so crazy. I had just watched a video on YouTube. It was a man that was a judge, and he was basically, doing his duties as a judge, and he was a real judge or whatnot. And this girl came in for court, and she came in because she got tickets for her car. Her car was towed, and the judge was like, well, your car was parked at a park and you had stickers on it, so it wasn't supposed to be there. That's why it got towed. So she ended up telling her story basically real quick. Her parents, both her mom and her dad, I think were killed. And so she was alone. So she had no one to rely on, and she had no family or nothing. So she only had her car. And then she was going to work and she was sleeping in her car. She had nowhere to sleep because she wasn't able to pay the bills. So she lost her home. You know what I'm saying? Her home was where her mom and her dad had her. You know what I'm saying? So she
mhm,
wasn't paying no bills. It was her mom and her dad. So she lost the apartment that she was at. And even for her to go to court, she had to borrow clothes from her friend to look some type of way to go to court so she could talk to the judge. And everything just kept being like another bad thing after another bad thing after another bad thing to the point that she was sleeping on the bench because she lost her car. You know what I'm saying? And it just ended up being like, it was just like everything just was tumbling down. Nothing was ever going good. And she didn't have anybody in her corner. She only had her coworker, which is so funny how it matches this story, how it matches this movie, I should say. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? The judge was like a little, like the judge was literally like her angel from above. The judge ended up saying that he had a friend that worked at a hotel. So he called while he was still in court. he called and asked if he can have her stay there for 2 months and he'll pay for it. And he ended up paying for it like right then and there. He ended up calling another place and got her a job, a really good job, because she didn't have any health insurance because her parents had the health insurance and they died. So she had no health insurance or nothing. So he ended up getting her a job that offers her health insurance. He did everything for her, even got her a
Oh,
car
nice.
and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was
Mm-hmm.
so dope because I feel like her story with everything just falling apart one
Mm-hmm.
after another matched this movie with Taraji so much.
And that's a prime example right there. Like
Hmm.
stuff does happen to people.
Yeah.
However, Taraji's story didn't end up so great as this woman who you're talking about. But Faith mentioned something. While I'm here, was I the only one confused when they said the daughter died the day before? I feel like that was muddy. I could also be slow.
No, I feel like that was what made the movie.
Good,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? That's what made the movie for real, for real. Because
Yep.
when tragic situations happen like that, just like I was explaining about like my ex, every time I would start to pack up, I would be like, hold on, what am I doing this for? What's going on? Because I would just be like, my people would come over and make me feel so good again. And it's just kind of like the feeling of how things was before that day seemed to be back to normal until reality kicked in. Every time reality would kick in, it would literally kick me in my butt. And then I would kind of go back to living my life again. And then reality would kick me in my butt. So that's very realistic to me.
Yeah,
Very
yeah, yeah.
realistic.
It sure is. I
Mm-hmm.
agree. Same. Like people go through what we end up finding out later. Um, Taraji was going through psychosis. And I think psychosis is
Yeah.
very, very real. I actually
Mm-hmm.
know someone personally who has went through psychosis. So this movie to me, I'm like, this opens the door, like what Coach said about mental health. Like a lot of people aren't aware, especially in our Black community, especially as
Mm-hmm.
Black women, because we go through a lot of trauma as well. And sometimes we'll take people acting out or doing something crazy. We'll just like, oh, they just acting crazy. Something wrong with them.
Right.
They
Yeah.
really could be going through a mental break and we don't
Mm-hmm.
know the signs. We are not aware of those signs. So I think this, although he had the stereotypical Black woman trope, it really opened the doors for us to discuss mental health and mental awareness. So yeah, Coach, I agree with that. It was over exaggerated, but it definitely opened a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we kind of fast forward a little bit to her friend checking on her as she runs to the back. And as she runs to the back, you have the manager played by Colonel Taylor off of A Different World. His real name is Glenn Turman, right? Glenn Turman, is that correct? Anybody who's familiar with A Different World? Um, Glenn Turman, which he normally plays like a nice guy. I never really see him play anything like bad. So a lot of people were shocked to see that his character as his manager was such an asshole. Like, why is he out the gate being so mean to this woman for no reason? It's like we all had that one aggravating or annoying manager in our life. We've have, but to this extent, was this realistic to you? How her manager was acting towards her.
I think that I think that was realistic, to be honest. It just doesn't, it's just not something that you'll see all the time at a typical job. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I do feel like at some jobs, and only to certain people, because sometimes some managers only act that way to certain people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They probably see something in you that probably remind them of something and they just don't like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's just, they just don't mess with your energy. It just be something about you where they just want to see your downfall and they want you to work under them so they can control you or something, you know? There's definitely situations like that. Even if it's not the manager, if it's like a team lead, it could be anything. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that is realistic. It's just not, you wouldn't, most people wouldn't deal with it, but most people don't know most people. And a lot of
Right.
people go through things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Right. Okay. So I want to point out a very important scene as her manager was fussing at her, telling her to go back out to angry customers and go and clean up like a glass that somebody, and no one came to her defense. Like all the
Right.
men that was in there, saw that somebody just threw a glass, even her manager, and no one didn't say nothing. Ain't nobody like, hey, like, don't be doing this in my store, or hey, no one protected her in that moment. I'm like, well, dang. But what I want to point out, I might be jumping the gun a little bit. She did go back out, but she also had a phone call, which made her go back to the back room again. And that phone call, what we thought at the time was
From her
her
school.
daughter's school calling. And in that moment, she's talking about what she mentioned earlier in the movie, or her daughter did, that, hey, mom, I need these $40 for my lunch because they're gonna make fun of me. And the people that was making fun of her, when she asked who, it wasn't the kids, it was the teachers, right? Or she asked her, like, who did the teacher say it out loud or something like that. My question is, I don't know, every school is different. I thought they had the free lunch thing. Like, did they not have free lunch?
I
Or
mean, honestly, I don't feel like they would have had a free lunch there because it kind of seemed like everybody was struggling.
yeah.
And it kind of seemed like, yeah, I don't think they have free lunch there. I would have hoped so because of the environment that they was in, you know what I'm saying? But the
Yeah.
way that everybody seems to just struggle and the way that, the kids seem to be, it didn't seem like they had free lunch, child.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Call me crazy. I thought most kids had the free lunch. I don't know what time period this was supposed to. Well, no, the time period seemed current.
Yeah, it seemed
Um,
current as hey. It most definitely was current because they was playing freaking Glorilla's song in the beginning. You
they
know?
sure was. So I'm like, dang, the girl ain't get free lunch. Like, I thought based upon your income in your household, which she didn't make that much money, she couldn't have.
Yeah.
The girl should have had some type of free lunch, but I don't know. Call me
Yeah.
crazy. But
Mm.
she mentions the $40, and this seems to be the premise of the whole plot of this story about her getting these $40 to her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets the phone call, and as she gets the phone call, she runs to the back, and then you have her manager on her behind, like, "What are you doing? Get back out there!" Harassing her. She's like, "Hey, I gotta go to my daughter's school." Now she's frantic, and now she's just doing too much. And she lets him know that, "Hey, I have to get to my daughter's school. Give her $40. Blah 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 blah." I honestly didn't think he was gonna let her go. I thought he was gonna fire her right then and there. So I was surprised he was
I
like,
thought so too, but
yeah.
he's still such a a-hole because even though he was gonna allow her to go, he said 30 minutes. Child, what?
Right.
That's
Like, what can you do in
crazy.
30 minutes?
Right.
So he lets her go, surprisingly, and she leaves, and she realized she needs
But
cash.
before she leaves, she asked for
Yeah.
her check. And
Yeah, she did.
that's when he was like, "Are you crazy?" Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You about to leave right now." Da, da, da. So she ended up just leaving, child.
Yes, that's a good. I'm glad you pointed that out. She did ask for her check. As a manager, since you say you were a manager, would you have given, let's say there's someone slacking off at your job, and would you give them their check before the day ends?
I mean, if that was me and I was actually passing out checks because at the job that I work, it was just like, you know how it is. It just goes straight to your account.
Yeah.
But I would have most definitely because if you come and you talk to me, especially if you're a hard worker and
Yeah.
I can see how you are, read your energy and all of that, I would most, honey, as soon as that check comes into the office, I would give it to you.
But what
You know
if
what I'm
it's
saying?
someone who's something's always happening, they're always late, they're always slacking off?
I
Would
mean,
you
it would depend because if they always late, they're always slacking off and stuff, that could just be a lot that I don't know about you outside of work. But if you come to work and you put in your work and you really do your big one here,
yeah.
and you are someone that is like, I need you. I don't want you to get fired because I need you because of the work you put here. Yeah, I would definitely give you your check.
That's good. Yeah, I would
Hmm.
too. I would definitely, like, some people you just know. I think he was just outright being an asshole to her. Like, like,
Hmm.
this lady good for it. Like, just get that lady her check, okay? So she
Yeah.
can get stuff done. And I feel like no matter what she was going through, a lot of people was not hearing her or not listening to her. And it was really like, oh, have you been in situations before where he's like, I'm going through something right now, and what I'm saying is going over people's heads? Or do you think this was just her perception? because she was under some type of psychosis.
From the way that the movie was playing, especially from the landlord and the manager, it kind
Mhm.
of just seemed like she has a hard life and not a lot of people in her corner.
Okay. I agree. I agree. So she leaves out. She notices that she needs to get to the bank. So that's going to add on to her 30 minutes, which she knew she wasn't going to be able to make it back in 30 minutes, but she was going to chance it anyway. So she stops, she runs to the bank. And as she runs to the bank, the line is super long out the door. She tries to skip the line, like, hey, I just need to get some money out my account. And you have Sherry Shepherd's character, which she's the bank manager. And you can see Sherry Shepherd is very dismissive. And I don't like people who are dismissive. You can tell she's like, oh, yeah, okay, that's good to know. Okay, you still got to get to the back of the line. You can tell she was just very kind of just like in that situation as a bank manager, would you have let her skip the line? Because rules at banks are totally different.
Honestly, no, I wouldn't have let her skip the line if I was the manager at the bank because all
Yeah,
of the customers are important. And I can't do
exactly.
that because then it will turn into a chaos of people saying, but you let this person, and then that will make everything get out of control. So, no, you're not skipping the line, sweetheart. I'm sorry. I understand you got things going on, but you can't do that here. I really wish there was a way for you to, I really wish there was a drive through situation instead of it just being a walk into the office so you can
Right.
go through the drive-through, but apparently that's not what they was trying to do because they needed this scene to happen to make the movie happen the way they wanted it to. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? But yeah, so yeah, and so Anthony was saying $40 for lunch at school. How much for lunch? Yo, yeah, crazy. Um I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that that didn't have to be something where it was like a one day thing. Maybe it was probably for the week.
For
I'm
it
really
could have
not
been for the
exactly
week or
sure.
for the year
Yeah,
or the
because
month,
it's not going to
something.
be $40 for one day.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hmm.
So you have it where basically Sherry Shepherd is dismissive, but kind of rightfully so because she has a job too. Like, hey, I can't just let you skip everybody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to get to the back. Um, she realizes that now, am I tripping? She ended up leaving because she didn't have any money anyway, right? She
Yeah.
because her account was overdrawn.
I have to think what happened in that moment.
Because
Why
I
did she
remember her
end up
telling her
leaving?
account was overdrawn because she tried to do it at the ATM and realized she couldn't get to the ATM.
Oh no. She said she had money in her account, but it was telling her that she didn't have the money. So that's why she had to go to the people at the desk
Inside.
so they could pull out the money. But the line was too long. Yeah,
Okay,
the line was too long. So she just had to leave in a rush because of time.
got it. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So she heads over to her daughter's school, which this scene was very, very important. And I want to say this was the first time we saw her something like weird happen with her. So she gets to the school. She gets basically the teacher comes out
Okay,
to
Anthony,
class,
thank
right?
you. Mm-hmm.
Want to leave this plan and go. Okay, all right. Thank you, Anthony. Um, she gets into the school and the teacher comes out. And you can tell like everyone is kind of acting very weird towards her and looking at her crazy. Like, why are you here? Like, what do you want? Like, are you okay? Um, in that moment, I thought that was a real moment she was having.
Me
And I
too.
literally thought that CPS took her children away. It took her
I
child
did
away.
too.
So, but at the same time, I'm like, this is so unrealistic. Like, why is they taking the child away at just this one time? Like, what they didn't give her no notice, they didn't make no house visits. Like,
Yes, Kendall, you do.
I definitely have to watch.
Okay,
Yes,
Anthony.
watch the movie. It's very, very good. So in that moment, what was going on in your head when you was like, why is CPS coming like all of a sudden? Like, what is going on?
I kind of felt in that moment. I wanted to jump through the screen and slap her teacher because you got her messed up. First off, you kind of know how things are. You know
Yeah,
how it's been for her and her daughter. They talking
right.
about, oh, she looks like she hasn't eaten in days. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, she do eat. I do feed her or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? She gonna say, but she has scratches on her back or something like that. And she was like, you know how she is. You know she has these like diseases or whatever. And she
Yeah,
wanted to be a bigger girl and stuff like that. She was like crying, pleading for her daughter. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that that was crazy. I also felt like it was a little unrealistic for them to be dragging the daughter out of the school. That
yeah,
was probably the only unrealistic thing to me. You know what I'm saying? For
yeah,
sure. I feel like that right there was a bit dramatic, you know what I'm saying? Because but at the same time, not really, because it wasn't like they was trying to drag her. The daughter was trying to get away to go to her
yeah.
mom. So I understand that part, especially since her mom was there, you know. So
I
it
don't
was just really
know.
crazy how all of that kind of happened.
I don't know how CPS work, but I'm like, I would think they would do like visits first before they just outright take the child. They don't like they don't warn the parent or none of that. They just outright. I don't know how that works. So I was very shocked too. I'm like, wow, they just gonna take the little girl like that, like, and then the teacher gonna call, like, really, like.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
But you have that
It's
moment
crazy.
where it's like something like she looks up and then it's like something's happening to her in that moment. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
It's like she kind of zones out for a moment.
Yeah.
What did you think was going on right there?
I kind of felt like she was just feeling everything that had already happened to her earlier that day. I kind of feel like she was just like in that moment, everything seemed to be, from what we've known about her so far,
Hmm.
everything that she loved seemed to be around her daughter. So her daughter being taken away from her kind of just like shut her whole world down. And I feel like that's kind of the emotion she was going through in that moment, because there was nothing that she can do. And everything that she's been doing was for her. So she just kind of lost it all, you know?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, her daughter's been taken away from her, and then does it start to rain at that point? Because I remember her coming
Does it
back
seem
into the
like-
job wet, right?
Yeah, because it was raining. Mm-hmm.
Did
Was it
she
raining?
went home? She went home first, right?
Yes, it was raining. It was raining. Yeah, it was raining. Mm-hmm.
It starts to rain, and it's like it goes to show like the whole saying like raining on your parade, like when it rains, it pours.
Yes. Oh,
It's like
girl.
like
Yes.
literally when it rains, it pours. Like it's like what else can happen to this lady all in one day? And
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember why she went home. Do you know why she went home?
Why did she go home? What happened? Um, oh, you know what? I think she had to go home because she was supposed to take the rent money at 10 o'clock to the landlord.
But she didn't have it though. So I was
She
trying to
didn't
figure out
have
like
it,
what
but
was she.
maybe she was gonna go and plead to her or something.
Okay. Okay. But as she gets there, she realized that all her stuff is out on the curb,
Mm-hmm.
including her daughter's medicine.
Yeah.
Um, that sucked.
Yeah, really bad, girl. What? You done had all this stuff happen to you and now you kicked out of your apartment is insane.
Yes, yes. It's like what else bad could happen to her? But she grabs her daughter's medicine, she grabs her daughter's book bag, and she grabs this little um toy gadget, this like project that her daughter made. And I was wondering what that was in the beginning of the movie
Yeah,
when
I
she was
wasn't
giving her
sure
daughter
what that
bath.
was either because they really didn't say.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like what is the significance of this?
Yeah.
Which it goes to show like when people are under like psycho, they just do. I don't want to say anything, but some stuff just doesn't make sense to us because we don't know what
Mm-hmm.
their mindset is. Like, what was the purpose of her grabbing the, I guess, the gadget and taking it with her, grabbing the book bag. I understand the medicine,
Right.
um, but she grabs that. She gets in her car and she heads back to work at this point. But on her way to work, she gets in this like road rage thing with this police officer.
Right.
Which now that I'm thinking about, I'm like, was that even real? Did that even happen for real?
Yeah, that definitely happened. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I Because sometimes I guess it leaves me with the question of like, we saw how her day went through her eyes.
Right.
So it's like some stuff people probably was really being an asshole, but some stuff could have been potentially over exaggerated based on what
Hey,
she
Anthony.
how out of
Mhm.
the zone she was in.
Yeah.
So it she gets into this little road rage with this police officer, which I'm like, is he just like purposely messing with her? Like that is so random to me for him to like just pick her out of everybody. Like, uh, and I'll have to go back and watch, but she really just hit his car. Like, what was the like? Did she try to or?
I'm pretty sure she didn't try to because she's in a rush trying to get to work. Why would she want to hit a police car? And that's what I feel like a lot of people kind of took on wrong. But at the same time, not trying to sound in this type of way, but he is, you know, that color
Non-melanated.
in that color neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I feel like anybody that's like that, well, he will probably try to make them have a bad day. One of
give
them.
him a
You
hard
know what I'm
time.
saying? They not like us. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
feel you.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel like that can easily be realistic, especially knowing that people have to realize that they're in a very small town where it seems like everybody knows everybody kind of situation. And on top of that, it's a hood. So everybody broke too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Great movie. It's Ashley. Yeah, hi. What's going on? Thank you for joining the live. Yes, it was definitely a great movie. Um,
You
so
said Dice said kiss from Jay smile, LOL. Do I have like a stank face?
I don't think I haven't seen Jay with no say. She's been smiling. I don't know, child.
I don't
I
know.
can't
I'm trying to
recall.
pay attention.
But yeah, so we get to the part where I guess they ended up writing her a ticket, and then it's like he's making these threats to her, like he's just gonna make her have a bad
Right.
day, and I'm like, where is this coming from? Like to me, that part I would say of the movie I did not get. I'm like, and I get we have non-melanated people who will just go out their way, but it's like this one seems so unwarranted. Like, granted, she did run into him by accident. She didn't know he was, a police officer because he wasn't in a police officer car.
Right.
It's just he was just doing too much.
And
Just
on
write
top
that
of that, it's
ticket.
like I can see that happening honestly because first off, it's raining really bad. You're stressed the heck out.
Yeah.
You just got your only child, taken away
Lost your
from
birth.
you. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You have to get back to your annoying boss. You just got kicked out of your apartment, your home. You have nowhere to sleep. It's easy for you to be thinking about all of this and not really paying attention to the road, especially when it's raining and it's already hard to see. And your eyes, people have to realize it's so crazy. Your eyes can be seeing what's in front of you, but your eyes can also see what's in your mind. So sometimes when
True.
what's going on in your mind is too much, your eyes is over there. So it's hard for you to see what's in front of you if your eyes is looking in your mind. You know
No,
what I'm
that's true.
saying? So I think that is pretty realistic to me.
No, that's true. I could see that. I could see that. I guess I just didn't understand the police officers, like his whole. It can be realistic, but as far as how the movie was going, I was like, where did this come from? Why was like, did he have any dealings with her prior to? I'm listening and I'm driving home.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much,
Kendall.
Kindles. Thank you. Drive safe. So she finally gets back to work. She's soaking wet, like soaking wet. And then now we got her manager being an asshole to her because she's how I think how long he said it took her. It took her an hour and 30 minutes to get back
I
or
feel
something
like
like
he
that.
said it took her, yeah, something like that, or 2 hours, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So I was like, dang, that did take her a long time, but she was trying to do so much with so little time. On
Mm-hmm.
top of the fact that like now she's basically lost her daughter. So at that point, I can almost assume she was prepared to get fired. Like I'm almost assuming like the way your manager set up, you can't
Oh,
just walk up to
I
him.
knew for sure she was gonna be fired, child. I
Yeah,
knew for sure, especially when she walked up in there. She kind of already looked like it, and then when she tried to hurry up and get to work because all the customers is like, "Do your job, get to work or whatever," because they all know her from working
yeah.
there. You know what I'm saying? She goes to try to get at the register, and he's like, "No, no, no. I had to call in somebody else to come and do your job or whatever." and takes her to the back.
Yes. Ashley says, I'm late, but the movie has so many questions. Known Tyler, he put the toy in the movie to act like a bomb. Just yes, he did. I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things that people was questioning, I think was done on purpose. I
Yeah,
think everything
definitely.
had a purpose.
Yeah,
That went over a lot of people's heads. I'm like, he
yeah,
had to set it up for the kill. He had to set
yeah.
up. He had
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that the toy was it. You know. But yes, back to this scene where she gets back into the job and she's soaking wet, and you got her manager already like he like steaming hot with her, and he like, yeah, you know what, you fired. It's like he would kept adding insult to injury. He's like, oh yeah, and she's like, can I
Yeah,
get my check please so I can go? And he was like he didn't have to be like, get his lady her money.
yeah. She was like, "My check is right there. Can I please just get it?"
Yes,
And he was like, "No, you're fired. So your check is going to be mailed to you, and that's going to take, I think he said like 3 business days or something like that."
yes.
Yeah,
She
that's
was an asshole
crazy.
on purpose.
On purpose, though. That's insane.
I see at that moment, I thought she was gonna run and take it because that would have been me.
I thought that too. I honestly thought that too. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, I'm already having a bad day. I'm gonna walk behind this back office. I'm gonna grab my check and I'm gonna give you a few choice words. You're gonna get a whole lot of FUs, and I'm walk out the door. I feel like throughout this movie, she also had a certain amount of integrity about her too.
Yeah.
Cause like even when, if I can kind of jump the gun a little bit, even when it came down to the situation to where she comes back to the job and she gets the check, like, and the whole robbery incident happens, she only grabbed her check. She didn't grab no extra money or none of that. She literally just grabbed her check. So it's like she still has some form of integrity about her throughout this whole process, which is crazy.
Well, let's go ahead and get into that situation since we're there.
Yeah.
I thought that that was absolutely insane. When I first seen the guy poke his head around the corner, knowing that they're in the back office, I thought that was insane. You know what I'm saying? And he was looking clueless. She was looking clueless. And then he's asking for an item in the store. Like you went past all the people that was working for. I can't say all. I guess I would say the 2 people that was working there, but those 2 people also were busy. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was crazy. And the fact that he ended up looking at her name tag and saying her name, and instantly the boss thought like, oh, he's just gonna completely continue to pile things up on her. Like she's just this much of a bad person. If she was that much of a bad person, why would you have her working there knowing that you can't rely on her, you can't trust her or anything? And it seems like she's been working there
Exactly.
for some time. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like she knows everything about the place, and everyone that's working there seems to know her. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was crazy. That whole situation was absolutely insane. The fact that she like, so when that situation happened, she did follow him right into the office. So that actually did, like, that whole situation did fall right, like it just led it right up to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, seeing him, so the boss, the manager was like, you have to go to the front or whatever after he done said her name, and he pulled out the gun, and he freaked out, she freaked out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you were part of this. So what? Oh, no, 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 that's not what happened. How the whole thing happened? So the man was like, give me all the money, give me all the money. So he opened up the safe, he pulled out all the cash. He had a whole bunch of money. Well, he didn't have a whole bunch of money, but a whole bunch of money to compared to what I
Yeah.
would think would be money, you know what I'm saying? And put it on the table and stuff like that. She sees her check in that moment, which is crazy, you know what I'm saying? And
She wasn't quick enough. I was
she
mad
wanted
she
to
didn't grab the
she
check right
wanted to grab her check. You know what I'm saying? She wanted to grab her check and shit. I don't know, how did she get the gun? Oh, they was fighting over the
They were
gun.
tussling
They
over,
was
yeah.
Yeah, they was fighting over the gun, and she ended up taking it, and that's when she ended up shooting him and killed him with one shot.
I ain't gonna lie. I was like, that's what his behind get. I'm sorry.
I ain't gonna
I
hold
said he
you.
needed to shut
Yeah, ended
up.
up
He needed
shooting
to get
him.
on
The
my
crazy
nerves.
thing that really blew me was the boss was like, "Oh, you try to set me up," just because he said the guy that was trying to rob her said her
He said her
name. You know what I'm
name.
saying? Because
Yeah.
he read her name tag, because she's at work.
Right.
So yeah, so he was like, yeah, so he got on the phone, talked to the police, and that's how the police got her name. So she ended up freaking out, and after she seen what she just did, she was like, shoot, I'm already having a bad day, child. Yeah.
Now that was the wrong thing to do. Like I was like, okay, don't make your day worse than what it already is. Like she lived, but I think it was one of those like in the heat of the moment situations.
I don't even think it was the heat of the moment to me,
You
to be
think she made
honest.
a
I feel
conscious
like
decision
I
to
think that she
shoot?
made a conscious decision. It was more so, instead of it being conscious to me, I kind of just feel like she turned everything off.
Okay, she just went black.
Yeah, she just went black because she was just like, it was almost like she had her, it was like the good angel was like plugged into her, and the bad angel just like took over. And like she just shut down, and it was just a whole nother side of her that came out,
Anthony,
which I thought was
Anthony,
real creepy.
she shot the robber and she also shot her manager. So the robber got shot in the middle of the tussle. So she wasn't trying to shoot the robber, but he got shot in the middle of the tussle. And then she grabbed the gun and shot the manager. She just blacked out because he was making life worse for her.
Yeah, we know that already, Ashley. Uh-huh.
Well, she said, y'all knew the daughter was already dead, though, when she dropped the little girl off, right? She went on about
Yeah,
her
we
day.
know.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't know that in the
Yeah,
middle
in
of
the midst of
watching it,
it. Yeah.
but after the fact, I was like, okay, that made more sense. And then they specified and said the daughter died the previous night. So I was
Yeah.
like, dang. But we're gonna get to that. So just to kind of speed it up, let's get she's on the run. So well here's the thing, she's not even on the run. She was like, before I
Yeah,
go,
she's not she wasn't on
I'm
the
gonna
run.
cash
She was
my
just trying
check.
to go, yeah, cash a check. And it's crazy because when she ended up shooting the manager, his blood got on her check.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good
Mm-hmm.
observation. It did. It did. And which in
Yeah.
her mind, she's not seeing how all this stuff is becoming red flags. Which a lot of people who's
Yeah.
under psychosis, they don't see how their actions is very suspect. It's like, hey, do you know how
Yeah.
this could get you in a lot of trouble by you doing X, Y, and Z? But
Mm-hmm.
their mind is so set
Yeah.
and so tunnel vision
Yeah.
and
It's like
focused
they're
on
having
one
a tunnel.
thing.
Exactly. I was about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. And her
Mm-hmm.
mind was solely
Yeah.
set on cashing her check because she's like, okay, I lost my daughter. I couldn't make it to get the $40. Let me at least cash my check so I can at least get back into my place. That's all I want to do. So
Mm-hmm.
she gets back to the bank. It's a few people in there. It's not as packed, but it's still a few people in the line. She gets there. She finally gets to the front, which this lady pissed me off. This bank teller pissed me off. So she was so annoying. It's
She
like,
was annoying.
lady, all you had to do was go and get your manager and be like, hey, for this one time. And I'm almost certain at certain banks they can do this. The lady, Taraji or Janiyah Wilkinson, she goes and she's like, hey, I need to cash my check. And she gives her the money. She didn't have her ID on her. So I think that was the whole part of why the lady didn't cash her check. She
Yeah.
didn't have ID on her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if this lady comes to this bank all the time to cash her check, like y'all can't make no exception for this lady. The bank teller was
I understand though, but at the same time, they're not wrong for doing that, because
yeah,
I can go to my bank, and if I don't have my ID or my bank card on me, they're not gonna be able to help me at all.
that's true.
And
That's
that can
true.
come
But
out
I
for
feel like
fraudulent. And then you know how they be saying black people all look alike. But you know this person. You
I'm like,
know
this
this
lady
person.
coming here all
She
the
even
time.
said her name. She even said her name. Her name was Tessa. She was like, Tessa, you know me. Tessa,
Yeah.
you know me. You know what I'm saying? She even said her name. So if you
Tessa
know
must
this
not
person
know.
by name also, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
But I feel like Tessa was
I was
like
like, wow.
trying to be like she was trying not to understand her. It's like she was just trying to be indifferent. Like it really got on my nerve. But she's trying to cash this check. She doesn't have her ID. And
Even before that happened, actually, when she gave the check to the lady and she seen the blood on there, she didn't even
yeah,
think it was blood at first. She thought it was like something else,
paint
something that had to
for
do with
kids.
kids. Yeah,
Yeah,
paint. She was like, oh, the kids or whatever. And even Taraji was kind of looking like, oh shoot, oh my God, she gonna see the blood or whatever. But she thought it was something else. Which is crazy how she spoke on it about that's what also made the whole realistic part about us not knowing that the daughter isn't there, because she spoke on, oh, I know how kids are, you know what I'm saying, kind
yeah.
of, went like that. But yeah, child.
So it escalates to Janiyah Wilkinson pulling out the gun. But it's like she ain't even do it right. It's just like she just put it on the
She just
on the
put it on the
counter.
counter.
And it's
But
like,
that does a lot to me, because honestly, if I'm at a store and I'm telling you I can't do something because of the rules here at this
yeah,
job, and you put a gun on the counter, honey, you could do whatever you want to, okay?
okay.
Like, you could do whatever you want to, child.
Exactly. And my thing is, at this point, with her putting the gun on the counter, Tessa had every right to get scared and frantic. But it's like in those situations too, you have to think. You have to be smart on your feet. You can't just, oh, let me just no. Are you listening to what this girl cash that check, please?
Right.
That's all she wants.
That's all she's saying.
Cash the
And the
check.
thing that was so irritating was that she was pulling out all the money. She was even, this is another thing that happened when you
Pissing me
had
off.
said in the beginning that she didn't take all the money, she just took her check. Same thing happened here when she was at the bank. She didn't take all the money, even though the girl pulled out all the money from the drawer and put it on the
Not
table.
listening.
She didn't take all the money. She just wanted the money that she made, and that was it. And more people, what? Honey, first of all, I ain't gonna hold you. If I was at that office and both of them people would, honey, I'm taking all that money, child.
Period.
You
Now I
know,
would have too. I'm
you know what
like,
I'm saying? You know
since
what
you
I'm
bigging
saying?
it up.
So I was just like, yeah, that's crazy.
It is. And my whole thing with that situation is I feel like Tessa was purposely not trying to listen to her. And she was, to be honest, she pissed me off. I don't want to say more than anybody, but damn near more than anybody. Because we're like, we are right in the thick of this thing.
Yeah, Anthony.
Get that lady her money.
So yeah,
It had to be
mm-hmm.
done after the shooting and had time to go to, and yes, that's what we were saying. Her character basically, which we found out later, is under some type of psychosis. Um, and her mind is tunnel vision. She doesn't. Anytime someone is in psychosis, from what I've seen and observed, their mind is so focused on one small little thing that they're not realizing how their
The
actions
only
lead
thing,
up
yeah,
to that is
yeah.
like, hey, you're not realizing what you're doing and how you can be harmful to others and yourself. But we get to that part, and at that point, now the manager is alerted, everyone's aware. And it was the manager's decision to lock the doors, I guess, to lock her in. But I'm like, she should have like just let everybody out first before she locked the doors. I don't know. Maybe I ain't
Right,
never worked in
Anthony.
Hollywood or something else.
Honestly, I feel like in situations like that, especially because they had gotten onto the phone. Remember, the
Mhm.
manager spoke to the police because the girl had the person at the counter had pushed the button or whatever she did
Right.
to notify the police, so they had called. So yeah, I thought that that was, they are gonna lock the door. They're not gonna let everybody out because then the person would get out too. So I believe that's the reason why they had did it like that.
I see that, but I'm like, they were close by the door. Like you had the police officer. Like, why he didn't take action? He just like all he doing there is just, well,
The
not police
security,
security. Yeah. Why he ain't take action? He's just like, okay, I'm just gonna lock the door. I guess that's their procedure. So they have, every bank, I
yeah.
guess, has their procedures. So we get to the point where now we are full aware that Janiyah is quote unquote robbing the bank, when she's in her mind, I'm not robbing the bank. I'm just trying to cash my check. Please
I
give me
mean,
my money
yeah.
so I can go.
If she wasn't gonna pull out the gun, then it wouldn't have, definitely wouldn't have came off as robbing the bank. It would have just been you trying to cash your check and
Yes.
whatnot. And honestly, it kind of, well, we'll get to all of that later because that's kind of down the line. But yeah.
Oh no,
Hmm.
you can go ahead and say it. The cat's out the bag.
Yes, You're so funny, child. Yeah, I was gonna say when the girl came into the bank the first time when she wanted to be able to get the money out of the ATM that she had, the remaining of what she had,
Mm-hmm.
it shocked me that Sherry Shepherd kind of treated her like, well, you're gonna have to wait in line, when we find out later on in the movie that she knew what was going on the whole time. It kind of blew me to be like, if you know what's going on and you been knew what's going on and you're just, trying to be by her side or whatever, why wouldn't you try to have her have a better day? You
I
know what
don't
I'm
think
saying? By
she
allowing her
knew.
to,
I don't think she
huh?
knew the whole time. I think she found out later. Because if you think about it, when they called for Janai, I think at that moment when she was talking to the police officer and she was like, "Oh, it's for you." I think at a point in time, that's when they told her. Because she said, "I found out earlier." It's not like she automatically knew. I think after talking to the police officer, the what do you call it? Who was Tiana Taylor's character? The dispatcher or whatever you call it. I think that's when she found out. My personal opinion. I don't think she knew this whole. I don't think she knew right away.
Mm, I don't really,
She
I
said
don't
they
really
told me
know.
earlier.
Oh, that's what they said?
She
Oh, that's
said
what she
she
said?
said she
I
said they
remember I remember her saying something like that, but I was thinking that it had to have been like the day before. You know what
mm,
I'm saying? Because no?
I don't think so because I think she found out in the midst of on the phone call with the dispatcher because they called her first. They called the bank
Yeah.
phone and she was like, "It's for you." Like, but I think they
Yeah.
had to tell her at that point. I think they told her after they ran her ID and found out who she was, which makes sense to me with Tiana Taylor's character because I was like, why all of a sudden she's the only person who has sense to empathize with her. Her backstory was that her mother went through something similar, so she could recognize the signs of when someone's going through psychosis. So that's when they found out more information about Janiyah. And I think at that point, that's probably where they told the bank manager, like, hey, this is what we dealing with. I'm gonna need y'all to keep calm. Because if you notice, after a while, her demeanor changed towards Janiyah. She's like, okay, she a little crazy, but this is why.
No,
That's what I
I don't really think so because even when they got to her apartment, when they seen that all of her stuff was outside, she knew from that moment before they even knew anything about her, like it just seems like she's a struggling black mom. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too sure. I kind of wish that they would have gave more about that information so that we would know. But I kind of feel like she knew before then because she even said that she sees her and her daughter coming to this bank all the time. You know what I'm saying? She like sees them coming into the bank. And on top of that, it's a really like small town. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a really small town. But I
but
don't know,
the
you could
daughter
be
just
right
died
though.
the night before though. So I
Yeah.
don't think that gave anyone time to figure out what was going on because she didn't even have a chance to process it. She literally went to
Yeah,
bed
that's
at night.
true.
The bank
Yeah,
people don't
that's
know her like
true.
that. They don't
Yeah.
know her like that to know because it also makes me think back to the landlord. I'm like, knowing that her daughter passed away, you was really an asshole. I don't think nobody knew. It literally just happened. So that's why she didn't even have time to process it. My personal opinion. I don't
Hmm.
know. I think
Yeah, no,
everything was
I agree with that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I can agree with that. Yeah.
you have it to where was I? Where we in full effect. She's technically, I guess, robbing a bank when she's really not, but she doesn't understand how it looks that she has this gun.
Right.
And then they lock everyone in, and then you have like an older couple. I think you have like two older couples, and you have one guy who was by himself, and you had the actual security guard, and he pushed
Well,
past the security guard.
I think it was just one older couple and then one older lady.
One
And
older.
then
Okay, there we go.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah.
And I forgot to mention, just to kind of go back, introducing Tiana's character, her and her partner, which is so fine, by the way. I don't know what that man name is, but Jesus, he is my cup of tea. I
You
love
are so
tall, dark,
funny.
and handsome. I don't know what that man name is. I'm finna find it, but Jesus, that man know he look good. What is his name? His name is Michael Merrill.
Okay,
Baby,
Michael Merrill.
baby, that's a tall glass of Jesus Lord, that man fine. That's my cup of tea, by the way, y'all. Tall, dark, and handsome if y'all have them. Anyway, but yes, it seems like the partner, they made it seem like he was a little tone deaf to like the situation, but at the same time, I'm thinking like, hey, we have a woman who just murdered her manager on top
Mhm.
of, I guess, setting him up.
A
But my thing is,
random, a
y'all couldn't have thought
random
that.
guy.
Yeah, it's like if I was a police officer, my mind would think that too. I wouldn't be thinking that deep into, oh well, maybe this happened, maybe that happened. Which
Hmm.
when Tiana Taylor's character was introduced, I was like, this don't make sense to me. How would she automatically assume like, oh, let's give her a break? Let's do it's I don't think that's realistic. Not for police officers. They're looking at logic and not feelings. They're not putting their feelings into things. They're looking at
Well, I mean, I feel like the reason why she probably felt that way is because first off, when Tiana Taylor got to the job, when she got to the job, because
Mhm.
that's when they first like heard everything because the police was called first from there. So they had to
Yeah,
go to her job. And her coworker, the one that was looking out for her, told her that, this isn't like her, stuff like that. Maybe even the coworker was the one that probably told them, you know what I'm saying? And maybe they got a bit more sensitive there. Who knows? Because the coworker seemed to know her pretty well too. But then again, I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? So from the job, knowing that the people that she talked to said that this isn't like her, they went to her home. You know what I'm saying? Where they see like, okay, now we see that she just got put out of her home. So now it seems like she's just spiraling out of control. You know what I'm saying? And then when they get over to the bank, you know, I just think I don't like, yeah, I agree with you how it seems
it was too
weird
quick
because
for her to put the pieces together. Is what I'm saying.
yeah, it most definitely was, that's for sure, especially if they don't really like know
She
anything
had
like
no
that.
prior history about her.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
feel like this should have been more of a series so we can get more pieces to really understand and really get into it for real because there was a lot that could have been told. Like for example, like we was talking about in the beginning, why did she grab the science project? We could have learned more about that so that
yeah,
everything would kind of flow, like just everything, child. There could have been a
exactly.
whole lot more that can went into this if they took their time instead of rushing.
And that's why people were saying and criticizing him for only filming the movie in 4 days. They're like, he should have took more time. But I also found out Taraji P. Henson, which I don't know if you've seen Fight Night, great series with her and Kevin Hart.
Mm,
That's based on a true story. So it's such a good. She was filming that show at the same time. So he got her only four. She only had 4 days that she could film it. So in that sense, I say they did a great job. But far as overall, it's like, okay, Tyler, if you would have gave it like a few more days, a few more weeks, you really could have like thought out some of those things that people got, have questions to. Um,
yeah.
so fast forward into the whole situation where she's holding everybody hostage. We got one guy who gets away. He basically pushes past the security guard, but they get out. They get out. So it's like she's holding them against their will, but at the same time, she ain't really doing nothing to necessarily keep them in there either. But people are scared because they're now assuming that, hey, the science project that's in the book bag, that it's a bomb. You also have um, the gun that she's waving around. She's crazy. So it's like no one wants to make a false move at all because when you're dealing
Right.
with somebody like that, you can't even play. You like they could be crazy. Let me try to steer clear.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
I'm trying to see what happens. You have Sherry Shepard. She's definitely confirmed, like, yes, she has a bomb. Um, then you have the bank tellers, Tessa and the other young lady. They trying to figure out what's going on. They're scared. You have the older
Mhm.
woman. I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I remember that they after the police officers got into their vehicle where they was able to look inside the bank from the cameras, one of the
Mhm.
girls that the clerks or whatever they're called, the workers at the bank, put her cell phone on live and was showing what's
Yeah,
going on inside. You know what I'm saying? And they was also, the police officer was also able to see that Shorty went and got chairs for everybody so they can all sit down. And the police officer was like, "Have you ever seen someone do this before?" You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
Stuff like that.
accommodating.
And yeah, they was looking at all of that, looking at the behavior. And even when the older couple ran out, there was like, she's not gonna stop them or anything. You know what I'm saying? She just kind of let them go because she wasn't robbing the bank. You know, so if
Exactly.
they was gonna run out, she wasn't gonna stop them from running out. You know what I'm saying? She's going to be like, "Well, you can go, just don't let them in here because that one police officer, he's out there and I'm not coming out there until he's gone," type situation. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it ended up being really, really crazy while they was up in their jail.
It did. And just to kind of fast forward a little bit, um, as time was ticking and she did allow them to sit down, well, I think prior to her allowing them to sit down, her and Sherry Shepherd go to the back, and I guess she tries to like disconnect the cameras.
Yeah,
So I guess because so they couldn't see her because she was just trying to figure out like how are they watching? How do they know what's going on?
right.
And then you have Tiana Taylor's character who tries to kind of like talk her off the ledge and like, hey, like I recognize some of these signs. I empathize with you because my mother, she recognized those signs in her mother, basically. Um, I wish they would have told a little bit more of that story as well. Like what we said earlier, it felt kind of like rushed a little bit. Like, okay, how all of a sudden are you connecting with
Yeah,
people?
that's why I was like, I wish it was a series so we can really get into it for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think they get down to the bottom of finding who the police officer is. And to me, I don't know, call me crazy. I still feel like I know he was a real person. I know he was really messing with her, but it's at the same time, I almost feel like, did that even really happen for real? Because there's so many things that just, I don't know. I don't know. There's so many things that we find out later that didn't even really happen the way they was trying to show it through her eyes and through her
Yeah.
point of view.
Mhm.
If we can fast forward to, I guess, the FBI having to get involved
Mhm.
because at this point it's nighttime. She's held.
Yeah.
I think he said she held the bank up for. She had hostages for how long? Like
Yeah,
several
it's
hours.
been a long hours. And actually before the FBI had got there, that's when the whole situation of her talking on the phone to the girl, she was telling her whole story of how her day went and everything she's been through. And this is when she was on live. So
Yes.
everybody in the community heard the story and related to her, and they all came down to the bank and was cheering for her. And she was like, "What's that noise?" And then when they looked out the window and they was like, "They're here for you," or whatever. And I think that's when she ended up noticing that the cameras was on. Like, how do they know what's going on in here? And she cut the cameras off from there. And yeah,
But I don't think she was
after,
she aware that she was on live. I don't think she was aware that she was on live.
no, she wasn't aware that she was on live. She wasn't aware of that. It was just that the TV had came on. The TV, remember the TV in the bank had came on and the news crew was outside, so she was seeing that. So I think when she was hearing what they were saying, that's what made her think like how they know what's going on in here. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And she looked up and at the cameras and that's when she wanted to turn them off.
Okay. Okay. I can see that. And so at that point, ooh, where am I?
So you
Am
got to
I
where the FBI's came and got involved.
Yes, the FBI came and got involved, which I think that's very realistic because if you can't
Yeah.
have the local police to take care of that situation at this point, yes, the FBI does have to get involved. And they didn't want them to take over because again, we have Tiana Taylor's character. Wait a minute, something went down the wrong pipe. Woo, something went down the wrong pipe. My bad, y'all. I should have muted my mic.
You okay?
Woo, my eyes are watering. Hold on, give me a minute, y'all. Quick break.
All right, Anthony. Anthony's like, I'm falling asleep, child.
Y'all, in the middle of me talking, something went down the wrong pipe. Oh my God. Okay, but I'm good. I'm back out. Yes, Anthony, I know you're sleepy. This is around your time you go to bed. You say you're usually in bed by 10. So thank you for listening this long. But we're
Yes, thank
wrapping it
you,
up though, because we're
Anthony.
towards the end of the movie. So the FBI gets involved. You have Tiana Taylor's character. She's really recognizing the signs. So she tries to hold off on them just going into the bank. That's like the whole thing. Like, don't go in there. Like, give us more time to get her to surrender. That was the whole point of the police officers. They really wanted more time. But I get the low key. I did understand the FBI's point of view too, because like
Yeah, I definitely understood
we
their
have
point of view.
hostages in there, y'all. We got to get them hostages out of there. We can't let this go on any longer. So it's like we got to do something.
Right. Yeah.
And I think Jania's her main thing was get that other police officer, get them out of there, and then I'll let the hostages go and I'll surrender. Because I think at this point
Mm-hmm.
they're starting to sink in for her, like, ain't no way out of this. And she starts talking to Sherry Shepherd's character and let her know, like, hey, I think this is the moment for me where I think Sherry Shepherd knew, like, that's why you start looking at her. She's like, promise me you'll take care of my daughter when I get out. You know what I'm saying? When I go in, promise me you'll take her in, blah, 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 blah. And Sherry Shepherd's character was very hesitant to say yes, because she's like, okay. And I was wondering I was like, why is she so hesitant? It seemed like they were building a bond. Why is she hesitant at this point? And I think at that point, or maybe a little bit
That's true.
before,
I didn't even really catch that part at that moment
yeah,
because, we didn't know at that moment. So I didn't really catch it. I kind of felt like it was more so, I kind of feel like the reason why she paused was because you want me to take in your child and I don't even know you and I don't even know your child and you want me to take in your child. I'd be kind of hesitant too, especially if your child doesn't know me and I don't know her. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And I'm married and I have my kids and stuff like that. But it was interesting because I remember when they went into the office when Sherry was like, I have a jacket if you're cold. And she went in there and then she saw the picture of Sherry's family, and she started telling her about her kids and the names and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
You don't
Yeah.
think because I feel like they spoke to the what is that job title called that Tiana Taylor is playing? I want to call her dispatcher so bad.
I said it's not a dispatcher.
It's
Um,
something,
I forgot. I don't know.
but I feel like they talked to I feel like that moment when she started talking to her and going into the office, and I think it was slowly starting to like, oh, like
Oh
Sherry
yeah,
Shepherd.
what is it called?
It's called
The
something.
the negotiator.
There we go. Okay.
Hmm.
Yes. I feel
Hmm.
like a little bit before then.
That wasn't her job, but she started to do that role. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because they was like, "Where's the negotiator?" The negotiator never showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So oh no,
Well,
he
he
did
came
show up.
late.
He
He
did
came
show
late.
up, but when he did, he realized that she was doing a really good job. So
Yeah.
she kept doing the negotiator's job. Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like at some point, because they called the bank first, which Sherry Shepherd answered the phone. I feel like
Hmm.
at this, just I'm sticking to that. I feel like at that point they told her and it made her like soften up because you can see like her whole demeanor changed towards her. It's more so, okay, like let me talk her like off the lid. Let me make sure she doesn't do anything crazy because now this just isn't a regular mad mother. This is someone who is mentally ill. Or potentially mentally ill because she found out that I think they told her that the daughter died. So yeah, but yeah, you have that scene. They go into the office. She kind of talks to her about her child, and then if you fast forward to where she's like, hey, I'm realizing I'm not gonna get out of this. I'm probably gonna go to jail for a long time. Please take care of my daughter for me. And Sherry Shepherd is a little hesitant. Yes, also because it's like, girl, I don't even know you all like that. But at the same time, it's like, dang, this lady really don't realize that her daughter is not really here for real.
Right.
She looked at him and was like, okay, like I'll do it. Just to say anything to kind of keep her mind at ease. Because they
Hmm.
in their head still think that she has a bomb. They really
Right.
still they didn't realize that wasn't a bomb maybe until like the last few minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Um, I think finally when she does reveal like this ain't even a bomb for real. This is just my daughter's like science project.
Hmm.
But by then, Tessa runs and tells
Yeah.
the
That pissed me off. I wanted to. Oh, that pissed me off. I ain't
Cecily
gonna hold
tells
you.
the people through the window of the bathroom that the bomb is fake. So that kind of gives them more like reasoning to like, okay, well, we can really bust up in there because we know that there's not really going to be any hostages harmed because there isn't a
Honestly, I
bomb.
kind of feel like that was even kind of stupid. I feel like that was just another reason to make people be like, "Oh my gosh," that I didn't feel like that didn't have anything to do with the movie. I feel like that was supposed to just make people feel away
Yeah,
because even when Sherry started telling her, "Well, we shouldn't probably tell them that because that's probably the reason why they're not coming in here." The girl that had did it, she kind of had a look, but not all that much, and then that part just kind
yeah,
of like got erased. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like that part literally it could have happened or it could have not happened and it wasn't really gonna matter. Because they still didn't like rush up in there like how they said it was gonna do anyway.
true,
You know.
true. We end up
Yeah.
finding that out later that they didn't even. She ended up surrendering anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
getting to the infamous part where we got the whole chaos. I guess they finally find the police officer. So they reassure Janai that hey, we went ahead and took care of him. Can you
Oh,
surrender?
so sweet, Anthony. Thank you.
Oh, it stands to the end. Yes, thank you, Anthony. We get to the infamous scene where they ended up getting a hold of her mother. Why do you think they got her mother? Her mother? Do you think her mother was like their last ditch effort? Like she maybe could talk some
I
sense into
most
her.
definitely, I don't think it was even like the last thing. I think things like that happen all the time. They're going to find the sensitive parts to like try to take you down
I
without
get
having to actually take you down. You know what I'm saying?
that
So,
makes
yeah, I would definitely, if you did something, I'm going to call your mama. You know what I'm saying? Because your
sense.
mama going to know what to say to you. Yeah.
Yes. And then it
Yeah.
makes me wonder what her relationship with her mother and sisters are because she was like her
But
mom and
then
sister
that's
think that she's
also the
crazy.
reason why I think that she didn't know. I feel like none of them knew because when they got to the mom, that's when the mom had told them what was going on. They had just got to the
I
mom, and
think
that's
the
when the mom
mom
told them
was
what's going on.
telling Janaya, like giving her reality check. I think the mom was
Well,
like,
maybe, yeah.
because Sherry Shepherd's character said they told me earlier. So I think the only person they could
Okay.
get to like give her that, I feel like with them, they would be the wrong
Yeah.
people to
Okay.
tell
Yeah.
her that her daughter died. They would be the absolute that she'll go
Yeah.
realistic, and it wouldn't hit. It wouldn't make it
Yeah.
wouldn't click.
She wouldn't think it was real. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like let's get her mom because her
Mm-hmm.
mom knows her. Let's maybe she can talk some sense into her. And at that moment,
Yeah.
when the ball dropped, and it took me a minute to process. Like, hold on, what? I had to rewind. It's like, hold on, the because she's like, Janaya, you got these people all at my house. Do you think that?
Mhm.
Greetings, Lily. Thank you for joining live.
Hey, Lily.
Do you think that the mom and her family recognized that she was under some type of psychosis, or do you think the psychosis literally happened right then and there? Because to me, I would think that it just happened. Like that traumatic night is what started the psychosis. Or do you think she already had
I
a
think so.
mental?
I think when the daughter had died, no, no, no. You know what? I think when she woke up in the morning, she went to sleep so stressed to the point that she kind of let everything go because I know that feeling. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To wake up in the morning and feel fresh and new and kind of forget what
Mhm.
happened the day before.
Yeah.
Because child, when I tell you I was like drinking like a mug to try to just wash the pain away,
Yeah.
that's how I felt. So when I woke up in the morning, I kind of forgot what happened the day before. And I was just like going on until like I had to be reminded of what happened, then the sadness sunk in again. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
Yeah.
like when she woke up, she went to sleep with so much pain and so much ache, and it just like reset her. And she
Yeah.
woke up like starting her day over. Yeah.
Like basically delusional.
Hmm.
Like it almost as if it didn't
Yeah.
happen. So when her mom
Yeah.
dropped that bomb
Literally.
on her, and she like had a moment and it started to replay how her day really went, like from the time she woke up noticing that her
Girl.
daughter wasn't even in the bed next to her, The daughter wasn't even
That was the
there.
craziest thing ever. When I seen that moment, I was like, "What?" I think the thing that was the most crazy to me after all, like when she was replaying everything that happened, was when she was at work and she heard that the person on the phone wasn't her school; it was a bill collector. Girl, that took me out.
Okay, let me ask you this because I think personally the $40 wasn't even the $40 for her daughter's school. The $40 was how much she needed extra to pay her bill. Do you think that that's like,
Probably.
and she subconsciously like took that as okay, she knew she needed $40, but it had nothing to do with her daughter's school. It was the bill collector.
Yeah, she probably forgot what she needed the $40 for.
That's what I
Yeah.
honestly think because I don't know. You know how bill child, we done all been passed through a
Yeah,
bill once or
that
twice. Bill
yeah,
collectors.
I think so. Especially since I was the bill collector. You know what I'm saying? It could have
Uh-huh.
definitely been for that, and she just forgot because she was into that thing. Yeah,
Her mind was so
crazy.
deep into her daughter that she just associated that $40 with her daughter's lunch,
Oh, yeah, Lily.
and it was really just
Hmm.
the $40 she might have needed. I don't know. That's my personal theory. That hasn't been
Nah,
proven, but
I think that could be true for sure. Hmm.
because bill collectors will like they will call, and it's like you just subconsciously hear okay $40, $40, $40. It could have honestly been the bill collectors keep calling her over and over and
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think it
over.
was the bill collector for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I
That's
think that
so
was a great
crazy.
observation that you pointed that out. So it just made me think like that would be a good little theory. So them playing that out and let her know that hey, it wasn't even the daughter's school at all. It was just a bill collector. Her actually showing up to the school and the
It
teacher
was
looking at her
crazy.
like, "You good?
Why are you here?
Yeah, like
Right.
you all
It's just
right?"
kind of like that's why even thinking about like how everything happened, knowing that you just had the worst like night of your life happen the day before, even looking at how everything actually went, nobody even still show her any sensitivity.
They
And that's why I feel
didn't.
like everybody was probably saying there was nobody in her corner. Because even though they knew what happened, they still was looking at her like, girl, you better get over it. How is someone gonna get over that? Y'all not even being sensitive to her
I
at
don't
all.
think
Y'all
they
just looking at her
knew.
like
It
she's
literally
crazy.
just happened. I don't think they knew.
Yeah, they just looking at her like she's crazy. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
it
saying?
just happened. She didn't even
But
have
the,
time.
the people at the school though would most definitely I feel like they should most definitely know that it happened. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the
But
people at the
it
school would know
goes
that it
back
happened
to
because
it goes back to black people. We don't know the signs. People are just looking at her like she's crazy, like, okay. So imagine, God forbid, something like your friend, I don't know, or somebody you know has a pet dog and the dog dies. And then the next day they're acting like they're walking their dog. You're gonna be like, huh? You're not gonna automatically think like, are you like you're automatically gonna be puzzled, like, are they okay? Like, what's going on? So,
yeah. Well, honestly, it can't be me, child, because if that's my friend and I see them walking their dog and they outside and they not walking the dog, it looks like they walking the dog, I'm gonna go out there and be like, where your dog at? You know what I'm saying? And if
well,
they say your
see,
dog right here, I'll be like, no, your dog is not right there, girl. Do you need a drink? Do you need to wake up, child?
yeah.
You ain't walking no dog. I don't know what you're talking about. Because everybody else, like the teachers, for example, staring at her, looking at her like that, that's insane. You know, nobody really.
Like,
That's
say
why I
something.
understand now when you said that nobody was showing her sensitivity or nobody really was in her corner. I believe that now. Nobody was in her corner because if he was, and you see somebody acting weird, especially if you know that their child
Uh-oh. Jay went away, y'all.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
sorry, that was my brother.
Oh,
I
okay.
had got a phone call. My fault. Yeah. So yeah, girl.
Yeah, that whole thing, no one really wasn't in her corner. But at the
Yeah.
same time, other people I think was trying to process it as much as she was trying to process it. Because we don't know the signs, especially in the black community, of when someone is under some type of mental illness. We just easily like just kind of like just chug it up. It's like, oh, like they crazy and keep it moving. We don't know how to address people when they go through something traumatic. A lot of people don't know how to comfort people after they go through something traumatic because they disassociate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people's disassociating. And then the doggone landlord, Peace Corps,
Yeah.
too. channel fans. You are so beautiful. Blessed to see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming through, LM. Thank you. But yeah, a lot of people don't know how to address that or recognize those signs of mental, especially in the Black community. Everybody was literally looking at her like she was crazy. How many crazy people we see walking
Yeah.
down the street? Like, oh, they crazy, child. Not knowing that they probably crazy because they went through something traumatic.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is
So
so true.
yeah, it
That
was
is
just
so
a
crazy.
shocker.
Yeah, this movie, it was good to me. So, what would you rate this movie now that you've seen it?
I give it 8.5. 8.5.
Yeah.
It was I give it an
Mm,
8.5. What would you give
to
it?
me, honestly, I'll give it a 7.5.
What?
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.5, or honestly, even probably even a 7, to be honest. It was a
Mhm.
really good movie, but it's not a movie that I would ever watch again. You
I
know what I'm
feel
saying? It was a one and done for me. Like I honestly would never probably watch this movie ever again. There's no
what?
need for me to. Yeah,
I
there's
feel
no
you.
need for me to watch it again. You know, it doesn't give me the need to watch it again at all. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't. It's
I feel
like,
you.
okay, I see it and whatnot, and then it's just like over. There's a lot of movies because I'm the type of person I could watch a movie again and again and again. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Especially if it was good. This movie was good. Yeah, it was
but
definitely
it's
good,
no
but it
need to
was
watch
kind of
it.
like a, yeah, it was like a one and done.
I feel
Yeah.
you. No, I feel
Yeah,
you. I
it
have a
was
lot of
like,
movies like that too. I agree.
mm-hmm.
I only reason why I give it 8.5 because coming from Tyler Perry, I think it had a deeper message that a lot of people need to start having a conversation around. And I'm a sucker for surprise endings. So anytime you have a surprise ending, I automatically like it. I love plot twists.
Yeah, I definitely love a plot twist too.
Yes. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. Cause we coming
Mhm.
up on 2 hours, and I'm pretty sure Jay has to get back to her phone
Mhm.
call. She said her brother was calling. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to this live. If you have any movie suggestions, I would give you guys like 30 seconds. Matter of fact, the movie suggestions that a lot of you guys gave in my last live, I am going to actually do the poll this time because I want the poll to be up
Yeah.
so I can get a chance
Mhm.
to watch whatever movie you guys are suggesting. So make sure you guys put that in the comment section below. If you want to add something real quick, and give about like 30 seconds. Um, and then I'll make sure I put
Thank
it
you,
on the poll.
Candles. We appreciate you for sticking around with us. Thank you.
Yes, I sure appreciate everyone who tuned into the live. Be on the lookout in my community tab for the poll. And we are going to, based upon that poll, review the next movie. So I thank you guys so much. Any last words, Jay?
I thought this movie was cool. Honestly, I would suggest anyone to watch this movie because it is a good movie and it's something good to see, like I said, one time and be done. You know what I'm saying? Because after you see it for the first time, you know how everything goes through, even though I feel like if anything, it'll probably make you want to watch it for probably just the second time, and then that'll be over. Only so you'll be able to catch everything that you missed if you wasn't really paying all that much attention. But the way that everything kind of turns around and was different from the typical movie makes you engaged the entire time. I could say that for sure. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? I could definitely say that. But it was cool. I liked it. But yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna check that list out that you sent me, and I'm gonna make sure we get that poll going. And anyone who's new here, I do movie reviews now. Every Monday, try to make it 8:30, just to give people time, 8 to 8:30, every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And my lovely co-host here, Kiss from Jay. And that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch y'all in the next review. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.